this is gonna be the last of like that I call it the beginning of the podcast of sorts, because starting next week from here on, for at least the next month or maybe two, it's gonna be a lot of stuff going on, a lot of gaming news every week, a lot of things to cover. Yeah, we were talking about earlier about trying to we're gonna have to probably figure out how and how much to talk about certain stuff, because there's gonna be a lot every week. I know, at least for me, I'm gonna try to watch as much stuff as I can between whatever PlayStation's doing, whatever Xbox is doing, whatever everybody's doing on their own thing, between what IGN's doing, GameSpot's doing, Summer Game Fest is doing. Family Boss, what's up? Yo, who's the girl? She cute, yeah. Sorry. That's Lady Kendall. That's Kendall. That's who that is. And you can check out our stream.
I feel cute without makeup today.
Hey. But yeah, so there's gonna be a lot going on. So this is gonna be the last podcast where I don't want to say you have smaller news, because there's still news, but where it's from the next stream forward, it's gonna get a lot more heavy, a lot more in depth. Just a lot going on. So this is this is how we be looking for the beginning part. So consider this this next month or two is really what's gonna make the podcast what it is. That's gonna be the ultimate thing of where we're going, how we figure things out. This is gonna be heading into endgame with this. So in the meantime, though, we still got this one. There's still interesting stuff to talk about, a decent amount of stuff. A lot smaller things, but enough we're talking about.
A lot of smaller news, just things that trickled in on the internet.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of things have been happening. So what we're going to do here is do one more time. Hi, guys, I'm Wilden. Kendall here.
What's up? I'm Kendall. How you doing?
Hi, welcome to episode 4. Our Geeks About Gaming podcast. Make sure you follow us on the Twitters, which is down here, at GAG Podcast. Again, if you have any suggestions for things, you want to commentate on stuff we're talking about, feel free to let us know there. We'll sometimes keep an eye on the chat, but a lot of time we're just kind of focused on what we're doing. So don't feel like we're trying to ignore you on purpose. Well, we kind of are. But anyway, make sure to talk with yourselves, and talk to us on Twitter for feedback and stuff like that. Yes, if anybody wants to help with the channel as far as making backgrounds, graphics, we're open to it. Contact us, let us know. We're down to have any extra help we can. We're trying to make this thing grow and stuff like that, so anybody wants to support us right now, we appreciate it. We'll take everything we can get. Okay, so we'll start things off here. We're going to start off with our howdy section.
Howdy!
Get the howdies in, guys. Our howdy section of the thing. Kendall, if you want to get us right into business here.
Yeah, howdy. Here's our weekly discovery. Yay! My weekly discovery is Lonely Mountains Downhill. Have you heard of that game?
I feel like I've heard Downhill, but Lonely Mountains Downhill. I don't know if that is quite ringing a bell.
It's just this awesome, but also super. It's kind of funny. It's a stressful, not stressful game. It's there's not much thinking involved. But it's a type of game where you're a biker, you're a mountain biker, and you just go down a mountain. And the goal is just to get down the mountain either as fast as possible or with the least amount of crashes. And obviously there are goals that you can achieve, and that's what makes it stressful. If you're trying to do something in less than 10 crashes, and you're I keep doing it in 12 crashes, I need to somehow get down to 10, or man, I'm 2 seconds off from this checkpoint, so I'm just trying to get that 2 seconds shaved off, and that's why it's stressful and not stressful at the same time.
Ooh, so what? How did you come across this? What is it on? When did this thing come out? Is it new?
I don't think it's new. We found it on Xbox for $1 last week, and we were oh, okay, this is a $1 game. How good can it be? And everyone in the house is hooked on it. We're all trying to beat each other's scores. You can also beat online scores, too.
I'm trying to look this up to see what Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
came out 2019. Oh, it's on Steam as well.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
on Steam. Yeah.
it's gotten pretty good reviews. Simple to learn, hard to master. That seems like kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's why we have this stuff. That I've never even heard of that before.
Yeah. And if you look at some of like the goals or like just like the achievements people have made online, like around the world, it's kind of insane. There's this one hill or this one mountain that's like so hard, but someone did it in like under a minute and a half. And we're like, how? We can't even get to checkpoint 2 in like a minute. Like it's impossible.
And it's like how you have the time on your hands to do that. Like I get like the
Yeah.
Dark Souls and the Bloodborne, but you're like this game. Not a lot of people know about, but I'm gonna be the best at this game.
I'm putting 50 hours into this game a week.
If you go into TwitchCon, like yeah, I got the perfect sword, and this and this, and they're like, huh.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to TwitchCon cosplayed as one of the mountain bikers.
And there'll be 5 people that get that. There'll be 5
Yeah.
random people.
But it's a cool immersive game. Like there are different maps. You can get different bikes, different people, and they each have their own stats. It's kind of like race cars, you know.
Can you like customize like their outfits and stuff, or is it not that?
Exactly, but they have their own. Like they have suggested ones for you, and they're like really cute names. Like one's the Blueberry, or one's like the Speedster. It's like really cute.
So, oh, that's just an interesting thing that come. Do you know how much is this? You say you got it for $1, right?
Yeah, like last week though. It's probably not $1 anymore.
Let's see.
I'm pretty sure it's a flash sale.
Flash sale game on the Xbox. It's yeah, it looks like it's 20 right now on Steam. If you're just like got the funds to do it.
Yeah.
So would it be something that you would say it's like meant to you'd be better off playing it with other people, or you would still just have a good time by yourself?
You can do either. We have a good time by ourselves, but it's almost fun playing it with other people to see if we can beat each other's times. That's what makes it really fun. Or like us cheering each other on. We're like, ooh, that's a sick path you went down. Stupid things like that. It's fun.
So it seems like a good fun game that like you could watch other people play.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Which is something you don't hear too often anymore in this day and age, because you're all about like what looks good on the stream and things like that. But to be able to just like to sit, not have to really worry about anything, and just focus on the game like the old school, like back in the day. That sounds pretty good.
I feel like if you stream this game, your chat would have to have a good hold on how much time you're spending on it. Like they're gonna be like, you have to play something else. Like it's getting inside you. You gotta go. You gotta quit that game.
Man, so it's yeah, I mean, is it something you would play on stream, or you would just?
I'm sure people do it, but probably not.
Yeah, I don't have the patience. You know me. That's like anything requires something like that. I don't have the patience for it. It's not my kind of game. I'll tell you that. But if you're into that, that's worth checking out. It's a Kindle recommendation, so can't go wrong there.
I think it's a good quarantine game.
Yeah, I guess that's the one good thing about this quarantine is like smaller games like that give a chance to like speedrun less. Yeah, like some people games get a chance to shine.
Yeah, uh-huh. Especially games you wouldn't touch if you don't have enough time, you know?
Yeah. I can't imagine. I wonder if there's like some developer or somebody out there that would be like, where all of a sudden their game's done really well, and they're like, shit, like if this happened like a year and a half ago, I could have like gotten another game, I could have gotten some out of it, but now that it's like been out for so long, it just, you're like, oh, this is good, but it doesn't help me now. You're like, dang it, like, enough crap going on right now. All right, so that was a cool thing we found. Kendall, what else is going on? Where are we at next?
Well, our hot topic for the week is probably something someone has heard of already because it blew up on the internet. Have you heard about what happened on Pokemon's stream a few days ago?
I've heard bits and pieces, but please go give us the full laydown for those who haven't.
Basically, Pokemon got a sexual content warning on Twitch. And it's because she clicked a link and it ended up directing her to Pornhub. It was only on her stream for a split second, but that gave enough time for everyone to clip it. Everyone and their mothers is forever on the internet.
Oh, jeez. That's
and it's kind of funny too, because if you watch the clip, she like opens it and she just does this cute little scream and then immediately closes it. She's so funny.
You go, oh!
Yeah, that's literally what happened. She literally opened it, went, ah! And then closed it. And then everyone was like, ah! In chat. Dude, people were going crazy in chat.
But she's still going. She's going today.
Yeah.
I saw her going to that. Good for her. You know, like her, she's like, I figure a topic. Funny. She's like one of those, like, I know it come a topic at some point, because she's like
oh yeah,
she's a hot commodity in probably the literal sense and the business sense or whatever. But,
you're right though. It's true.
Yeah, and she's, you know what? I've been in the same room as her, or I've been around her enough times to where, like, the next time that happens, I'll go and say hello. It just, the timing never felt right, because I was like, my own ego, I was like, all right, it was not that I wasn't intimidated, it just didn't feel right. Like, I couldn't, and I mean, there's been other streamers like that, where it's like, Pokimane Wilden, like, that's like something, that's a sellout, like WrestleMania tickets. That's not main eventer right there. I don't know what it is. So part of my ego is like, gotta wait for a big moment. We gotta sell tickets for this to happen. But then, at the same time, it's like, all right, I've been around enough. I think, like, you know, the next time I run into her, if I should say something, for goodness sakes, like, why not at this point?
Yeah. I mean, you've seen her enough. Might as well just say you're a fan and just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll even say, it's that being a streamer part of me. I don't know if I can ever say I'm a fan of another streamer. It's one of those things where it's like, I want to make sure, like, hey, you know, it's cool, but, like, I want you that, you know, like, don't see me as anything less than that. But, you know, she seems, like, you know, fair enough or whatever. I remember last year's TwitchCon, she had a meetup at some pizza place that wasn't too far from where I stayed.
Yes, she did, right outside the pizza place.
Yeah, and I was this close to going, I saw the line, I was like, nah, I'll run into her again at some point, you know? Yes. Because, like, the year before that, I think it was San Jose, I must have seen her... Oh, no, maybe I saw her once at... No, I saw her thing at TwitchCon for... Was it TwitchCon last year where she, like, dressed up in the outfit? Like, it was, like, her fit or whatever. So maybe I saw her then for a second, too.
Yeah, she, like, cosplayed one day.
Yeah, but, like, 2 years ago, San Jose, I must have seen her at least, like, 4 or 5 times, at least. And, you know, one was,
she
like...
walking around.
A couple times, like, I would just walk by her. A couple other times, like, she was, like, there was, like, one of the, like, the thing I missed was, like, 2 years ago, there was this one really cool party thing that was going on, and it wasn't, like, super exclusive, but you had to wait to get in, but there was, like, a lot of streamers that I knew, and a lot of bigger streamers, and they were all together, and it was in this bar, but it wasn't huge. It was, like, a medium-sized, but everybody, it was just kind of one of the first times, because I just maybe started streaming, or thought about it, and it was cool being around all these, like, high-profile streamers, just all in the same room, and such a confined place. Because I was like, I don't know how I ended up here, and then, like, some people knew me, and then I was, like, seeing, I saw somebody else, I was like, I don't know how you ended up here either, and they're like, I don't know how you ended up here, and I'm like, I don't know, but here we are. And maybe I didn't take...
We're in here, so here we go.
And that's pretty much my life. I always somehow end up things I shouldn't be at. But I can't get into, like, the Discord part of all this, but I somehow got into that, which I don't know how that happened.
Good for you. My friend Chance actually ran into Pokimane at the 100 Thieves party last TwitchCon.
Mm-hmm.
But when I mean ran into her, I mean literally ran into her. Like, he was... My friend was drunk. And, like, at the 100 Thieves party, and he's just, like, walking around, and he bumps into a girl. She turns around, it's Pokimane. And he just goes, oh, okay, and he just walks away, you know? She's seen, I guess she was probably nice about it, but apparently she's, like, the tiniest human being.
Oh, yeah, like, I mean, height-wise, she's, like, I can't remember, because it was hard to tell. She's either, like, my height are actually a little bit taller than me.
Yeah.
But as far as but she's like she's not a big gal. I mean don't get me wrong, she's an attractive human being for sure. But she seems cool. Yeah, but she's just like all of them are. Like really, all of them, like Kimmy, Jody, Leslie. I mean, all of them. All you gals are tiny. These tiny like little things.
I feel like I realize like this is sound weird. All mainstream women streamers are like tiny and beautiful. And by tiny, I mean they're just like I don't know, like you they have to like do one of these to look over a shelf or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, and it makes me feel slightly good because I'm like, not being the tallest guy, I'm like, okay, I'm like equal to their height or slightly under me. Maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's the slightest chance.
That's
but
funny.
Not in reality, no, none at all. But still, but it was cool. It was cool being around those same people, and it's amazing too how you meet certain people like we're getting off topic a bit, but we should talk about TwitchCon as experience. But like,
it really is.
Well, you meet. Yeah, sometimes like you'll meet people like certain streamers like won't remember you if they met you before. Yeah. And like that's like okay, that's fair.
Since they see a lot of people.
Yeah, they see a lot, but it is cool too when sometimes people like will remember like I was just talking about like Jody, Quarter Jade. Like, I mean, I'd met her. I mean, I was kind of in her stream a bit before she became really big, and then she got super big, and I kind of jumped off a little bit, but I'd met her for the first time like 2 years ago at the, TwitchCon 2 years ago, and then I ran to her last year, like at a meetup the last second, and she like recognized me right away, and I was like, how you have the memory for that? But like apparently she's like really good at like remembering people and that kind of thing, and I was like, daggone, I was like, shit. Yeah.
That's probably a really good trait to have too, you know?
Yeah.
Especially if you're like gonna make it big, it like makes you seem like a more like in tune person with the industry, you know?
Yeah, for real. And then like, and they say the thing too, which is like it does help if, as long as we could see your name tag and kind of put it together, especially every time it helps. So like make sure you're there. But yeah, we gotta talk one day once it gets TwitchCon happens again, whenever that's gonna be, we need to start like talk about our experiences from that, because that could be a whole podcast.
For sure. TwitchCon was such an experience for me. It's like it's oh my god.
One day I'll be cool enough to get one of those hip and happening party things. The real ones.
For sure.
Well, we'll go together and have a grand old time. All right, cool. But yeah. So this happens. They got a thing. It's not really her fault, so you can't get too upset. The poor gal.
I know parents are mad at her, but her whole community and just like us younglings, we're just making memes out of the situation. We don't really care. But it's mostly the moms out there that are like, you can never watch her again. She's a bad influence. We're like, but come on, it's just a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and the memes have been pretty good. They've been pretty good memes.
I understand it because if you actually did see the video, it was pretty explicit, like what showed up on screen. So I get it, but like we got good memes out of it, like you said.
Yeah, like it's not there's people that have done other things that have like split people off or caused people to take out the pitchforks and all that, but like nobody's really like doing that at her on this one because they're like, you get it,
Like, no one who matters is actually mad at her.
Yeah, and nobody's doing, like, a thing like do with other people. Be like, oh, just because she's so popular, she can get away with doing, get away with doing this stuff or have certain things. It's like, it's a different scenario,
I mean, there was slight drama for, like, maybe a day where people were like, hey, she did it, she only got a warning. If a guy did it, he would get a 3-day suspension. Like one of those stupid things.
Yeah, but like, it's as a business, you gotta accept that, like, people talk about like, oh, they get to bend the rules and stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen sometimes, and you can't like, I mean, you can whine and complain, it may not be fair, but any business in any sort of scenario like that, people get away with a little bit more, especially if they're, like, making a bunch of money. Like, why?
Yeah.
You know,
She's like Twitch's most popular girl streamer. You know, they're not gonna ban her.
mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, it's interesting. I got no problems with her personally or anything like that. Like that's the other reason I want to meet her, because her and her existence and me and mine are, I feel like, so different that I don't know if we would get along or not. I have no idea. That's another reason why I've been trying to like avoid it, because I'm like trying to find the right time, because I'm like really, I don't know if we could be our new best friends or if it just like falls flat immediately, because we're so different in our makeup.
Yeah, but you never know until you guys actually like meet and have a conversation.
Yeah, it's
like, hey, no.
Yeah, you never know. It's some people sometimes. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm sure we'll be bringing up other streamers saying that, because there's other stuff, and even her, she's had stuff happen to her in the past, but it's a never-ending thing. And in the scheme of what's going on in the world right now, it's not as big of a concern.
It is not important, 100%.
Yeah, so
enjoy the memes while you can.
Enjoy the memes while you can. So, all right, cool. So yeah, it is a little bit of our hot topic of the week, just something that kind of popped up. It was a little bit just like, whoa, out of nowhere for a second, and and now like just kind of just died down with everything else going on.
It did die down, but it was really fun and big for like 3 days.
Yep, and she's still going, so good for her, I guess. I did thought it was funny is she had her birthday was it like last week or the week before, and then she like was getting presents and she had 10 billion people watching her. I'm like, oh, it must be nice. And then but she was talking about how like somebody sent her like a water filter thing, and she's like, I already have, I think, one of these, or no, we have 2, or we have 3 of these in the house. So I'm like just like, why? Just why?
Those are those good like hydration jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stay hydrated. Here's a water filter.
And it's like, come on, it's like, just like everybody's gonna be giving her stuff, and it's like, there's a bunch of people that can use one of those. You know what I mean? For the joke, I'm like, come on, guys, really? For heaven's sakes, help some people out.
We'll be there one day. That's the goal.
Yeah.
We'll get free stuff out of nowhere because it's our birthday or something.
I hope so. Lord knows I could use some new headphones. All right, cool. So now so we kind of covered a quick topic, hot topic of the week. We learned about new game, things to Kindle. So now we're getting into the smaller stuff. This is the section, just to remind y'all, where we talk about game announcements, things that got announced during the week, kind of short snippets and detail. So Kendall, if you want to lead us into the first topic of that.
Yep. So as we mentioned in past podcasts, Epic Games Store is releasing free games, 1 free game a week, every Thursday. This week happens to be Borderlands, the Handsome Collection. This Handsome Collection includes Borderlands 2, Borderlands the pre-sequel, but unfortunately does not include Borderlands 3. One, we think it's too new for them to include for free, but they are having a nice mega sale on it. You can get the game Borderlands 3 for $30. So that's actually a really sweet deal for Borderlands 3.
Oh, shoot, can you? I might change that to my donation goal then, because I haven't played 3 yet.
Yeah, I've only played the demo of 3, and it was, like, really, really good. So,
dang, that's good.
And if you think about it this way, if you get all the games for free on Epic, and then you get the $30 Borderlands 3, you technically get 3 games for $30. So that's, like, not bad.
That's pretty good, and I mean, I know they had it on PS Plus a while back, and that's how I initially got it. Because it was the first time I was able to play the pre-sequel, and 2, I never finished. I started replaying it, but now I never finished it on the second playthrough, and I'm like, do I really want to try it for a third time to redo it when I just did it?
Yeah, right?
But, so have you played the Borderlands games before? Like, have you played all of them?
I've never played the original one, but I did pick it up at Borderlands 2, and then I actually replayed Borderlands 2 again, and then, literally, I think it was maybe a year and a half ago, I replayed Borderlands 2 for a third time, but modded it so that instead of 4 people, I could play with 4. Like instead of just 4 of us, we added a 5th person. So it was pretty fun.
Oh wow, I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, it's a crazy mod. It turns off some stuff, so it turned off like friendly fire or like teleporting or something like that. But it worked out. It was really fun anyway.
Oh wow. I mean, I mean, if you get the chance to play the first one, I recommend it. I know they just recently released that not that long ago. And the pre-sequel.
Yeah, it's it's very different from the games for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of like I always like when you jumped. I just wanted to go further and never went further enough to where I needed to go.
It wasn't as successful, but like the most memorable thing I think about the pre-sequel are like the characters in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing about Borderlands. They always have interesting characters like Tiny Tina and the ones you forget. Like honestly, I think the best Telltale game I played was the Borderlands one.
Yeah,
to be honest with you. And I mean, you know, don't get me wrong, I like the Batman. I played a little bit of Walking Dead and stuff, but I thought that, like, as characters and all that were really good. I know they brought a couple characters from that into the third one, I think. So that was really cool. And I remember being, I think it was E3 last year, and they had the giant statues of them.
Yeah.
Yo, those things were dope, and I'm like, what did they do with those? Are they just like, because there was like a handful of them. Like, did they keep them all in storage in one in the studio? I'm like, where did they do with those? Like, I want one of those.
Yeah, I think the only thing they gave out at E3 for Borderlands was like maybe like one of those cards that give you like a code or something. I don't think it was anything actually physical besides a card, too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, conventions, guys, when you go especially gaming conventions like E3 and stuff like that, it's a 50-50 shot on what you're going to get. You have to decide quick if it's worth it or not.
Yeah, 100%.
Because like Avengers, like at least like Avengers, we gave you like a lanyard and you get like a
folder filled with like the profiles. That was awesome.
Yeah, and then like Cyberpunk, you get that badass leather jacket stuff. I was like, that's cool.
And then if you didn't get that, they gave you like a yellow visor.
Yeah, and then look, I honestly I played Desperado 3, which was a small game. You just go in, you play it for a couple minutes, nobody in line. I got a freaking whole bandana out of it.
Wow!
Like this one right here, yeah.
I went to the Beat Saber booth. It was so small, but it was like a cool booth. And I got these, and they light up.
Yo!
Yeah, so these are cool ones, but like Borderlands 3 just giving you a code for something in the game if you get the game. It was like, okay.
Yeah, I'll just wait and try to take one off somebody or something. It's like, come on.
Yeah, they're like trying to give you this card as an incentive to buy their game or something.
Yeah, or you could be like certain companies that I will name where you don't have to give anything because your game's so awesome you don't need to.
Because your game's amazing. I really enjoyed just bringing it back to like what we got at E3. Luigi's Mansion, we got a flashlight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was kind of cool. Although the flashlight broke after like a week of me using it, but wasn't that good? But it was a cool idea.
Wait, when did you use it for a whole week? What did you use it for?
Oh, I work in a studio that requires like light every half hour.
Oh, really? Because
yeah. I know, right? Like, what did I use a flashlight for a week for?
Yeah, because I was like, that's because you're using it so often. But I'm like, what the heck you be using that for? Like, like, I had to ask. I was just curious. But yeah, so yeah, Borderlands is good if you never played it. Most people have at this point. But yeah, that Borderlands 3, because I might have changed my donation to go back to that. If it's like 30 right now, maybe change that.
I wanna get the game for sure. It looks fun. Yeah,
I've heard good things. Okay, so I'm gonna bring one into you, and I literally found about this yesterday. I mean today.
Okay.
Yesterday today. Words. What are words? Yeah, within like I don't know an hour before the stream, I found out this was a thing or so, an hour or two. So there's coming out a Goosebumps game. It's coming out.
Ooh.
It's a Goosebumps game, Goosebumps Dead of Night. It's categorized as a first-person survival horror game.
Okay.
So imagine this is kind of like the game that, like, as a kid, that we would have wanted and scared the poop out of us.
Oh, for sure.
There's a trailer out for it now. It's coming to PS4, Xbox, PC, Switch. So it's coming out everywhere. And it comes out, I think the release date's August.
Of this year?
Yeah, it's fairly... Hold on, I'm trying to... Oh, you can see the thing. Yeah.
2020 itself, though, is really soon.
Coming to summer. Coming to summer. But, I mean, let me try to bring up the trailer for this real fast. I'm gonna cover me again and bring up Kindle. Boop. Oh gosh, wait a second. Whoa, why are we... Kindle disappeared. Hold on, I got this.
No!
There we go. Oh wait, I know why. Because for some reason my Streamlabs wanted to move over here. I don't know why.
Oh,
there we go.
I believe.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just play this for a second, but the other cool thing though too is the last two movies that came out, you know, Jack Black played R.L. Stine, he also did the voice of the dummy and stuff like that. Well, he actually came back and he is playing R.L. Stine in this game, and I'm pretty sure he is doing the voice of the dummy too because it sounds like him.
Yo, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but like you can see, like the ghost pops out. There's like scary ghost girl that walks by. You have to hide. There's at some point too, you get like weapons. Like you make stuff. You get a weapon, like a radio, and then so you shoot like giant gummy bears, and then the wolf man like chases after you. Yeah,
so it doesn't look like it would be like Outlast or something, you know, or like Resident Evil. It looks like one of those like fun, like for like young teenagers, like, and like, you know what I mean? Like introducing them into like fun horror games.
Yeah, and I mean it's cool because Jack Black's done gaming before, you know. He's a gamer kind of guy as well. Yeah. And I guess because he's doing those characters, I guess it's canon to the movies. I guess in some sort of way. I mean even the design looks similar to it because it's weird because like I've seen this image of this clown and it's kind of creepy. But it's also got a little, it's not, I don't know if cartoony is the right word, but there is that little like
that feel, like
lighthearted.
Unrealistic. Yeah, lighthearted. That's a good. That's it right there.
Although I'm looking at these gnomes right now and it's kind of creeping me out, so I don't know. This girl right here looks kind of creepy though.
Oh like, my god! Stop looking at them.
she's like, she's a little creepy, but. Yeah, so I just thought that was interesting. Just kind of out of the blue. I don't know if they ever talked about this game existing before or not, but the trailer for it just came out today. I have no idea what the price point's gonna be. Yeah, I hope it's not full 60.
Yeah, it'll probably happen down the line. It could also be like a $40 game. You know, not like...
That's what I'm thinking it should be. I hope it's no more than that. And like I said, it's gonna be on all consoles, so we'll see. I mean, I hope it's like surprisingly good or not too. It might be a game for like me actually. I might actually like it because it's more simple, not too puzzle heavy. It doesn't look like I necessarily have to spend a whole game hiding every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Depending on how it does, maybe I'll check it out. So I thought I'd bring that up because I thought that was interesting. And I think before we get to the other, I think we should talk about the one thing last. So just a couple extra things. Also, speaking of free games, the game Arx Fatalis. And you're like, well then, what the hell is that? Well, that was a game that came out a wee bit ago. That was, in fact, like the first game made by the studio that's now known as Arcane. And if you know Arcane, they make games such as Dishonored and the latest Prey game, for example. But that was like the first game they ever did. I've heard like decent things about it. That's like a decently good game. If they had I don't know if you ever watched No Clip, but they did a documentary about the studio recently.
Okay.
And it's coming up on like 20 years or whatever. And the game when it initially came out just didn't really do well, and it kind of that caused a chain reaction. The studio always having to fight to like struggle to stay survive. And I would recommend watching that documentary, by the way, about Arcane on No Clip, because they talk about like 3 unreleased games. Like there was an unreleased Half-Life game they worked on. There was like an Alien game with Spielberg they worked on. There was a co-op shooter thing they worked on.
Yeah. I guess they just didn't have the budget for it.
Yeah.
That's so unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, it's free right now. All you gotta do, the only catch is that you have to go through Bethesda's website, and there's an Arcane Outsiders email list that they start. It's like a new group, I guess, to talk about their games. All you gotta do is just literally sign up for the email list, and then you'll get the code.
Yeah.
So that's worth checking out. Also, too, BioShock, one of my favorite games, as you know. It's finally on the Switch. The franchise is on the Switch, so if you've not played it for some reason, and you have a Switch, what are you doing? Go get it and play it now.
Get it, yeah.
They've been building up to... I was watching... Who was I following? I'm following somebody on Twitter. She kept posting all those facts, and she was making the game, and she was posting all these facts about all the games they made and stuff. It was really interesting. Also, the last thing, too, as far as, schedule stuff, we knew it was coming, that GameSpot and IGN were doing stuff for E3. We knew Summer Games Fest. They're still kind of putting out the schedule as it kind of goes with Jeff Keighley, but GameSpot and IGN have both posted, schedules of kind of what we're doing, and, excuse me, it looks like they're full, day schedules. At least, definitely for sure, IGN, they're gonna have, full day, live stream schedules, and GameSpot's doing stuff, and they all basically start next week. So that's why I said earlier, there's gonna be a lot for us to talk about, because it's gonna be a lot of content from a lot of press, but make sure you check those websites out. Yeah, because they both have it fully released, and you have to check out each day and everything. So make sure you guys check that out if you are interested in keep up with either of those content.
That's cool. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of it having a full schedule, because you have the time, and if it wasn't gonna be at E3, where's it gonna be? You can tune in at any time. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it is, like I said, it's different from Keighley, because Keighley has some of a schedule, but even him, he's there's going to be stuff the last minute. I'm kind of winging this as I go. Where it's GameSpot and IGN, they're doing a mix of, game demos, and they'll tell you what the demo is, or at least the studio, and then they're doing, speed runs, at the beginning, at least IGN is, and then they're doing, charity stuff. So it's a variety of mix of stuff to kind of keep the whole thing busy through the experience. So I'll be sure to check some of that stuff out. Make sure you check out too. We might be talking about some of the stuff that they're doing, things of that sort. But yeah, so we got another somewhat kind of big thing happened this week. Kendall, if you want to tell us what that is.
There was a nice release of Last of Us 2 gameplay. We actually have two different versions. We have an 8-minute full-on just gameplay of Ellie roaming the streets. And then we also have a 24-minute gameplay presentation, which is actually kind of cool. It's a mixture of cinematic and gameplay, and it goes through what we technically already know of the story, where it's them going through the world, and they get separated, and then they don't get separated, and it's about love, and it's about growth, and they just kind of go through the motions of a summary of the game, basically. So if you're not into this whole 24-minute presentation, I would suggest looking at the 8-minute one if you're just into gameplay, because there's some pretty gnarly stuff in there.
Yeah, I would show part of the trailer here, but I know there's a lot of people are purposely not looking at the footage to not be spoiled by it, so I'm not going to show anything here.
Yeah, especially since earlier this month there was a leak of the game. There was spoilers just kind of going throughout the internet, so a lot of people are being cautious about what they click now, because that was baited as gameplay.
Yeah, and I tell you, if anything else, without spoiling anything for anybody, this gameplay shows just how brutal it is, and I'm not talking about just you see a dude gets face ripped off with a wooden plank, and you can hear just the all the effects is just very intense.
And there's a part in the cinematic presentation where Ashley, who's the voice actor of Ellie, her face is all impaled, and you can almost physically feel the pain that she's expressing. It's oh god, this is such good acting.
Oh yeah. Oh no, and then the part with where you see somebody about to get hit with a hammer in like a certain spot, and you're like, "Ooh!" and they cut away, or
it's a good trailer for this game. It's so good. It's like a good presentation. It's good gameplay. Man, it just made everyone more excited to play it.
It did. Honestly, it did. Like, it bumped up my excitement quite a bit just seeing the gameplay. Even if the story or whatever got spoiled and stuff like that, I mean, it's worth playing it just to experience that gameplay, because it's intense. And, like, if you're a fan of dogs, I don't know if I can recommend you watching this either, because you might not be happy with what you see. Dogs don't get, any special treatment. I will say that for sure.
No, absolutely not.
And I do have to mention this, because this another, I guess, one of the biggest surprises from the gameplay that definitely got talked about on the internet, and we have to bring up, is that there was an appearance by a favorite amongst the group, a favorite portable system mates appearance with unexpectedly with the PS Vita. There's a character inside the gameplay I run into that has a PS Vita, and everybody on there was talking about it. Greg Miller was flying through the roof with it. Everybody was saying it lives. So those of you that were the PS Vita fans, you'll be happy to know it survived, at least by one person to a certain point.
Yeah.
So that was like a nice little ad. Like, you didn't have to do that at all, but that was just a nice little throwaway in for a certain group of people. And the people that got it appreciated it.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's literally for that group of people. Like, it wasn't made for anyone else, but, like, that group of people, just to, like, high-five each other, Did
you ever have, like, the PSP or the Vita?
Dude, I had the PSP. Oh my, it was so ahead of its time. Honestly, it was ahead of its time. We weren't prepared for, like, an out-of-home console. You know what I mean? Besides, like, the Game Boy, which was not as advanced, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
PSP, PS Vita, man, they knew what was up. They knew the world we would go into.
I mean, I've heard Vita's got some good games. It was like Persona 4 on there and stuff like that. And yeah, the PSP actually I bought off of somebody else that didn't want it anymore, and it was a decent system.
Yeah,
like, it had Birth by Sleep on it and stuff. You could put
I was about to say, it had like the Kingdom Hearts side games.
Yeah,
like,
you had to put in the cartridge like that. You go, you can hear it go. It was cool. I didn't play it that much though, but I was just curious if you had it, because I was like, I wonder, I wouldn't have known if you had it or not. It was that was like
back in high school for me. That was like early high school, so it was like, whoo.
No, I'm better not comment on that. It's a little later for me, just a little later. But yeah, no. So yeah, that's cool. Last of Us, I'm excited. Thanks to my stream, luckily I managed to, through donations, get it. So I will be playing it when it comes out.
Yeah.
On the 19th, through Delgado. So I hope some of y'all come to join me with that. I don't know if Kendall's gonna be playing too. Shop on her stream, she's doing it.
For sure.
It's gonna be excited. I got it digital, so my PS4 is gonna sound like an airplane jet engine, but we're gonna make it work. Okay, yeah. So that was kind of the cover basis. So a lot of just announcements of things that are going to be happening. We're gonna get into the main topic too, which also is announcement related. This show is very announcement themed, specific. So Kendall, if you want to just like hop into like one of our bigger topics here.
Mm-hmm. And mine kind of like turns into almost a discussion. It's more of a discussion, I think, than like a main event or something that's happening. But there were, I'm gonna air quote it, there were leaked PS Plus games. And we, for quite a while, we didn't know if they were real or not because of the sources it came from. It seemed legit, but then what was leaked was like a photo of things that were going to come out for June. And everyone was like super excited. Everyone started like sending all these like articles out saying, oh, these are the games that are coming out. And the games that were on that photo were Dying Light and Dark Souls Remastered. Then after a while, people started looking at the photo a little bit more closely, and they found a few spots that seemed illegitimate. So it's kind of like, is this true or is this not? Now it's air quote leaked because we're not quite sure. So this is what I want to ask you. Do you think leaking games is good, or do you think faking news is like good for the industry? Do you think we should leak things? Do you think leaking games can like almost help progress? Like if you fake a leaked games, can it like turn the events around or something?
Cool.
Like,
No, that's a really good question, Kendall, to bring up now.
yeah.
Because it leads to discussion too of just league games in general, but especially around E3. Like, as you know, retailers are pretty infamous for, releasing news of games before E3 actually happens.
Yeah, and it kind of ruins it for those developers. But also, I know some like indie developers who've actually like something was leaked that was false, and people were so into the idea that they would implement it into their game, and then it would become successful. So it's like,
yeah, it's I don't know, because it's weird, because it's like, let's say the PS Plus thing, like, that happened. It turned out in that case, it wasn't necessarily true. It ended up being two different games, really.
Yeah.
And there's always speculation around that. I think that in itself is less harmful, at least right now, until PlayStation like finds a way to reboot what they're doing with the whole PS Plus now and all that, which I think they will do something. But as far as game leaks go, I mean, it does give stuff for people to talk about, and like I said, majority of the time, especially like, was it like Amazon and Target, Walmart, they're always known for leaking stuff early because it's listed under like their inventory or whatever.
Yeah.
So that, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like maybe for the developer, probably more so it affects them, because like they were just about to announce the game a week later and the hype's like already there, but at the same time it might get an audience to pay attention and watch because they know what might be happening.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe not most of the time all that stuff gets like turns out to be true usually, or a variation of it. It's the only the thing I think where it gets a little problematic would be of what we were talking about. And I was watching Kind of Funny earlier, and they were talking about this, like consoles, like console leaks, the controller leaked. And it actually kind of leads in what the next topic is. Which I might as well bring it up now, because now it's kind of turned into a story. But so like PlayStation announced that next week they're doing their Future of Gaming event on the 4th, and it's gonna be like an hour-long thing. And then part of that process, like, it's like, why are they doing it when they're doing it, and things like that. And it's like they have to be thinking of, after, especially what happened with the controller and stuff in the past, like Sony more lately has been prone to leaks, so they're trying to get ahead of the game now, because they know that people are gonna start getting like, the consoles because of manufacturing, and then somebody could take like a photo of it, of something, and leak it out. So they're like, as soon as they know that process is happening, they're gonna go ahead and release all the information. And according to them too, like their console structure seems to be like they're on track still, apparently, which is surprising.
That's good.
Yeah, but so we could get into what we think about what's gonna happen out there. But to relate back to your question, I think when it comes to consoles and stuff like that, that's where it gets a little bit dangerous. Also, like Last of Us, the game leaks and stuff like that. I think that's more concerning than like. I mean, it is the responsibility of retailers should do better to make sure that doesn't happen.
For sure.
Because that's, like, disrespectful to the people that are working on it and stuff. But as far as, like, the community and stuff goes, it really just gives us something to talk about. I don't think it really harms or hurts anybody. People are not necessarily set up for disappointment as much. Knowing if, like, this game exists, it's more about, like, what's going to be in the game and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you feel? I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe this year, because there's not a lot of retailers, not a lot of leaks are going to happen.
Yeah.
So do you think with, like, going down the road with all this digital stuff, like, if they do more of this next year and stuff like that, do you think we'll start getting announcements earlier than before to avoid the retailer leak? Do you see any harm in the leaking stuff as well? Like, what's your kind of thought on this?
I think as soon as they have something solid, this gives them motivation to just give it to us, the consumers. But it also is harmful to developers if something's leaked and it's not something that's solid within the game or within the console or whatever, because that's dangerous. Like, you're just putting out rumors basically, and that's bad for us, because, like, whether it's good or bad, do we trust it? Do we want to try this game? Do we want this console? Do we want this new system or whatnot? You know, it does give us something to talk about, but I mean, I can see it both ways too. If it's solid information, I can see it being good for us, the consumers, but bad for developers, because they probably had, like, a nice rollout of things they wanted to release when they wanted to. But like I said, if it's, like, kind of not that legitimate, that could harm the game 100%. Like, it could make us not want to play it, which could, harms them ultimately in the end.
Yeah, I mean, you're right too. It depends too, because I think you hit it with indie developers specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think the indie developers would take more of a hit, because the bigger games, by the time we see those leaks and stuff, they're already almost close to locked in.
Yeah,
it's not gonna really change what the game was ahead of time. It just kind of got spoiled early and things of that sort. But I think you're right. Indie developers is a little bit different, because they have their own way of doing things. You're not being really too often being released by retailers. They're just being released online, and a lot of them are planning on have early access and stuff like that. So I think you nailed it with the indie thing.
Sure. So yeah, it really depends, I guess, on the situation more. But I feel like, because of the situation we're all in, leaks are more prone to happen now than any other time, because all information is literally coming through the internet from someone to another person, and that's easily attainable. And then they're like, oh, you know what? They have an event coming up. Well, guess what? I'm going to make my own event. Here's all the information I found.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? There's, like, since there is so many events going on and so many companies working together all over the place, maybe there's a chance of they're more, I had the word, but I can't think of it, like,
susceptible?
Thank you. That word. Because I apparently can't say that. To maybe that happening, because they're so focused on 20 different things at once this time, that maybe something could easily get missed or not paid attention to.
Yeah, because since I feel like you're not in your own little office, you have to send it to the people you think you have to send it to, and, like, it could go to one wrong person, and that's where your leak is coming from. So, it's all situational, 100%.
Yeah, we'll see how this next month plays out. Honestly, we'll see. It's good. This is gonna be the real test of it. Personally, with me, the PlayStation stuff, even though I don't have PS Plus really anymore, I do like sometimes speculating, especially like the week before. There's always, like, certain sites that speculate, like, oh, this is what I think the games are gonna be, and it's like, it's right like 75% of the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wonder if it's gonna be this, or is it gonna be a game that really appeals to me, or something, and things of that sort. So, yeah, I guess the only other thing, too, would be maybe if it gets speculation of like people talking about release dates too. Because if there's a certain game that like the retailer has, like it'll say like holiday or whatever, but not a specific date sometimes, and then some people are speculating like, oh, it's come this day, or then and then something happens where it gets like pushed, and people get disappointed because they're like, oh, you had all this time, or things like that. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah.
I might as well since I brought up earlier, but we're talking about this big state of play thing. It's happening with PlayStation. I can tell you all this. This is going to be a good, at least half of our podcast this week is probably going to be about this, because this thing's an hour. The previous little things we've got to state of plays have been like, the Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us have been like 20-ish minutes to a half hour maybe. Xbox's thing was, it felt like it was only 10 minutes, but it was probably like a half hour, because they were just like, here's some stuff, and then some weird interviews. I was like, okay. Supposedly, I'm hearing different stuff. Like, I'm hearing mostly first party, but maybe some third party, but it seems like mostly first party. Seems like definitely it's games for the PS5 specifically.
Yeah.
Which is good. Games. I want to hear about the games. Then the question is, though, Kendall, the question now that's in everybody's mind is that, okay, you're giving us all these games, you say you got games, what about the console?
Where's the console?
Are we going to see the console? Possibly price point, maybe, of the console.
Maybe a console. I mean, there was the controller.
Yeah.
There was that.
Yeah, and we know how that's gone over so well. It's not the best start for everybody.
So where's the console?
Are we gonna see the console? Are they gonna be like, yeah, we're talking about games, but that to be either at the beginning they're gonna be like, oh, but this is what's gonna be on, or at the end they're gonna be like, oh yeah, but this is what's gonna be on, and you're like, there it is.
See, but that's the hope. The hope is that they surprise us during the conference, that they're like, oh, and by the way, here it is, But I feel like we can't do that to ourselves, because I don't know, they estimated like a year or two for the console, and there's nothing.
They've been pretty quiet.
They've been quiet about it for sure.
They've been quiet.
I wonder why. It makes you think.
Well, because I think there's some chance, because it's not now. When do you do it?
Yeah, exactly though. Like, I think that is a perfect time to announce something. You know what I mean? Give us the color scheme.
Yeah, whatever. Like, somebody's not gonna be happy with the way it looks or whatever, but
yeah,
to be like, oh, here's all these games for this new gen console. You don't know what it looks like, but this is all the stuff that's coming out for it.
And they give us that nice Marvel looking trailer of all the games, that will that's cool, but what about the console?
Yeah, what is it? Like, they gave us the internals, but how is that structure gonna work? We know internally how it's gonna work. But how does that, I imagine it's not gonna look like a refrigerator like the Xbox One is, but
my god, yeah.
but how, that's the thing, because it's it's coming out in November. If they announce it now, they gotta announce it within the next couple of weeks. Do they have a separate thing? But it would be weird to have a separate thing just for that.
Yeah.
Are they gonna do what Xbox did, except the opposite, and do first party and then another one focus on third party?
I just think it's crazy though, because we have been sitting here for a year or two, really knowing that there is gonna be a PS5, and we're in the year, and it's still
And I guess they're thinking well, the people are gonna buy the PS5 already, or they're gonna buy it. We're not changing people.
True.
We're not gonna add new people, really. They're always trying to, but
you're so right. Yeah.
It's more about the pricing.
Yeah.
Things of that sort. So I'm curious how that works. If we're gonna get that or not. I think
feel like we have to.
We
have to get something. They can't just talk about the games.
Okay. Do they do it at the beginning then? Do they start off with it, or do they do it at the end?
I almost feel like they should I feel like if it was me, I would talk about it at the end, because you would just like start off with what everyone knows. Here's the game. Here's like the interface, you know, and like whatnot. But then, boom! Here's the console.
Right, that's true. Because I guess I would do the end too. Because if you're thinking about it, the you don't want, because of the consoles first. You could
who's
have
gonna stay for the rest? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Horizon 2, that's awesome. But, like, everybody's gonna be talking about, here's the price point. Everybody's gonna get on Twitter and talk about that, and then they're not gonna pay attention to the rest of it.
Oh, 100% not. Yeah. And everyone's obviously gonna complain about it, too. They're like, why is this amount of dollars? You know? Mm-hmm. They're like, wow, this looks so cool, but, like, you know, like, there's gonna be so much uproar about it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm definitely excited about the games for sure. Like, I mean, one of those guys. I mean, is it Horizon 2 gonna be one of them? Is Horizon 2 gonna be one of them?
It might be.
You think? I know people are like saying like it might be a little bit too soon, but
maybe. I mean, Horizon was such a like underrated game, you know.
And that's the thing. Yeah, that's true.
It was beautiful, but it's underrated. So it's like, can they come out with a second one right now?
I mean, I think there's definitely gonna be a second one at some point.
At some point, yeah.
I just don't know if they're gonna start out with this console or it's gonna get pushed back. But there's definitely talk. They're definitely doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you have any other do you have like any predictions as to what games you think they'll announce?
I don't even know, because at this point I'm at the kind of like go with the flow because of like the situation the world's in. I feel like it changes things, you know, just a tiny bit. Because people are home longer. Do the people have money for games? Like, you know, like for like $60 games and stuff like that. So I don't know. Who really knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just really, all I want is like a lot of these games I know exist that haven't been officially announced. Whether it's like, I don't know if, I'm trying to think PlayStation specific, like, I mean, maybe at some point in Uncharted 5, maybe, but I don't know if it's soon. God of War 2 is coming. Yeah. It might be again soon.
Yeah. I mean, actually, going back to Uncharted, if they were to make an Uncharted 5, I would assume it would come out around the same time the show airs.
Oh, yeah, that. Oh, yeah, they're working on that movie or whatever, aren't they?
Yeah. A young Nathan Drake who is Tom Holland. So I feel like that's like the time to do it. And I don't even know when that's set to release.
Well, I know that got pushed back is what's going on.
Yep,
I know that.
100%.
That'd be good, because I was going to ask you if it was going to be, I mean, this is a whole nother topic, but like getting to about like, I was wondering if they did do another one, would they stick with like the brother and the girls, the ladies, or would they do the daughter route and have the daughter be the, like, I don't know. And I'm trying to think of what, I'm trying to think if there's some weird like PlayStation game. Oh, like I know people have been talking about maybe All-Stars 2.
Oh, okay.
All-Stars 2, which is, man, that was great because it's such a weird game. It's not good, but it's so weird because like I'm replaying Okami, and the first thing I thought of was like how that character's in the game, and you could be find a big guy from BioShock and playing this wolf from Okami. It's like,
and people want a second one.
People want. Yeah, like a correctly done version of it, like a
I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't even think that's like in the the PlayStation's mind.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It was such a silly thing. I don't know if that's like a dream game or not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of PlayStation game specific ones. As far as like other games though, but I'm still waiting. But anyway, maybe we can talk about this in our topic. If there's like games, just in general that you think
Yeah.
might be announced coming out? Because I know, like, I'm waiting for the Harry Potter RPG. I'm waiting for
Yeah.
the new Batman. I'm waiting for what
Yeah.
Rocksteady's doing.
Oh my god.
You know, a lot of stuff like that has been announced, but we know exists. Like, I'm like, we've been waiting for a while from y'all. Like, come on. Is there anything that, like, you think that, like, is coming, or like that you know's out there that hasn't been announced yet that's coming?
No, I'm literally just rolling with the punches.
Yeah, no, like, you're just gonna take it all as it happens, yeah?
Yeah, literally. I literally have to.
Yeah, I'm really curious. I'm gonna be curious to see where a lot of things go. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an exciting summer. Yeah, this is the calm before the storm, folks. Is what we're getting into. Yeah, so I know PlayStation's next week. I'm going to start trying to keep on IGN and game stuff. I can't remember what Keeley's schedule is. And then later in the month will be like, they're going to be doing Cyberpunk thing, Assassin's Creed thing, another Xbox one, I think, or that's next month. So we'll keep an eye out. But I'm definitely excited about this PlayStation one, for sure. Again, it was announced kind of at the last second.
Yeah.
Who knows how many more announcements like this are going to be. Who knows how many more State of Plays are going to be. Nintendo exists. They're not doing a whole lot, but they're there. Yeah, man, I'm kind of excited for it. So I guess we can start wrapping things up there, I guess.
Yeah.
Well. So what do you want to do for Well? What we got?
Have you ever played Overcooked?
Yeah, I haven't played it because I never have friends to play with it, but I've heard of it, yes.
Well, it's a great couch co-op game, and they actually came out with something similar called Moving Out. And it's basically a couch co-op game where you're just moving furniture inside a truck. And it's time-based, it's like, I don't know, it's like super, super fun. It's like, yeah, that's it.
Wasn't it free? Because I think I have it on Epic. I think it was free at some point.
It was free on Xbox, and then on Steam, though, it's still $24.99.
So, is it fun? Do you recommend it? Is it as fun as Overcooked, or is it kind of different?
It's almost, it's like as fun as Overcooked, although since it's still new, they don't have, like, I don't know if you're familiar with Overcooked, but they have, like, really crazy locations, like hot air balloon kitchens, or, like, lava kitchens.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's, like, super fun, like, outer space, underwater. Moving Out only has just quite a few. They, maybe out of, like, the 10 Overcooked have, they have, like, only 4 locations, but they still have it as a story mode where you, like, go through higher and higher, and it ends up being, like, all connected, and you're like, wow, what the hell, that was fun. Yeah,
okay, so it's
not as big as the Overcooked world, but it's still fun to play. Not sure if it's worth $24.99 right now.
So it's like a shorter version.
It is a shorter version, yeah. That's why I don't think it's $24.99. But it's still fun if you can get it for free on Xbox.
Nice. Yeah, like couch co-op, like we were talking about before. It's it's not. I don't know if it's died necessarily, but there's not as 2B games often that support local co-op anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore. Like I was, like even the other day, like one of the people that watches my stream, like I played like Death Space with him on stream and other stuff, and he was like, "What game can we play together? Just like co-op, just like even in general." And I was like having a hard time. I was like, "Well, there's Gears and there was like Halo, but there's
not many, honestly.
No, and to have a co-op experience of just being able to be in the same room together and play a game is still something that's a little bit unique and different than playing it online.
Yeah, no, it's true, because you're, like, next to each other, you're feeling each other out and whatnot.
Right? And, I mean,
yeah.
like GoldenEye and, trying to, like, not look, like, at a cross screen and things like that.
I think it's the surge of, like, Battle Royales and the surge of, super in-depth narratives and stuff, and then like, just straight-up couch, like, super co-op, like, there's, like, nothing narrative. You just like kind of have fun together, and then we kind of like are dead space in that area you want co-op.
So then that makes me then I'm curious. So I got a question for you there. So then, do you think? Because I mean, it was big back in the day, then kind of died.
Yeah.
Do you think because of like things like the Switch and how that works, that there will be like a big resurgence of those games, or will there never really be as big as it was, but maybe we'll see a little bit more here and there as far as those kind of games?
I think we'll see a little bit more here and there, but because of like all the new consoles coming out and the Switch becoming extremely popular nowadays, I'm sure that they're more expanding into online games where you can play together online. So, yeah, unfortunately.
Is there a way to... I don't know, this is like a really dumb question I'm about to ask, but like a way to do like co-op and online at the same time?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever tried that.
Is that even possible? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe in like Smash Bros, you know?
Maybe. Because I know there's games that... I mean, there's games where you can play it either co-op, local, or online. But is there a way to be like
together?
To like have two people locally co-op playing something and then other two people in another room locally co-op playing something?
Yeah.
I mean... I don't know what circumstances that you would have that, though, I guess.
Yeah, I can't think of a game like that because if you're, like, in the same room with someone but you want to play with someone else, you just go online, you know? But, like, you would need two different systems for the people in the same room. You can't, like, have the same screen still.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I just had a thought, but then I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, then that's kind of my new point, though, because then who would use that? But I was like... I wonder if there's some game where you can do that.
I don't know. We'll look it up.
We'll have to, I'd be curious to look it up. I'm just like, if one of those came out, would I even...
Yeah, right? I feel like that would help with, like, roommates and, like, if you, like, getting in contact with someone and you're playing with roommates, you know? I don't know. It's a good idea.
Interesting. That's an interesting thought to wrap up things, I think. Yeah. Yeah, co-op, local co-op, man. It's another one of those things I feel like a good, like, this new generation just doesn't get. I mean, there's games like that out there, but I think it might be, like, a generational thing. Like, we were that generation growing up that had that, and there might be a few games, but it's never gonna be like it was. Just because that's what we had at the time. I mean, there was no online. So now it's kind of like, oh, what's the point, really? Or anyway, I think the last like big ones I could think of that were like that were whoever made the Castle Crashers and like Battle Block Theater or whatever. Like on the Xbox, like the 360. That's really the last ones like that I could think of that like did really well.
Yeah, I can't really actually think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah, man, those are the the old school. Like, the old school beat-em-up games, oh, I love playing those. Like, the new Streets of Rage is out, but I think you could do that online, but, like, maybe you can do both.
But still, you're like, it's not really what we're talking about, you know?
Right, because it's like, okay, Streets of Rage is probably meant for online. I don't know if you could do local, but then it's like, wasn't that game though meant for you to be local? Like, is it the same doing it online? Doesn't that feed, like, the purpose of the genre in a way?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like we could literally talk about this.
Yeah, that's a topic we could think of. Anybody has thoughts on that? Be sure to contact us on our Twitter about that, which I'll plug in again. Also, too, we were talking about. I know I have a section of my Discord for like if you want to talk about podcasts and stuff like that. But I think Kendall, you're mentioning you might have also a section developed.
I will add that. I started adding that today, but then I had all these problems, and I was like, never mind.
Yeah, so Kendall's gonna have one too in her Discord also. So like, if you have any feedback, you want to talk to us about graphics, ideas, if you have like comments on the topics we talked about, probably like Twitter would be best place for that. Maybe. I usually post like a highlight of the podcast every week. So at some point, like maybe midway through next week, I'll post a highlight of this podcast. And sometimes too, I'll ask you certain questions on Twitter or anything like that. Since all these events and stuff are going on, I'm probably at least like we're gonna probably post stuff related to what happened, like reactions of things of that sort. So keep updated for that. I'm gonna try to get the Twitter more active there. But yeah, in the meantime, we're gonna kind of wrap things up here. So yeah, so make sure you follow Kendall. She's also been streaming a lot of cool stuff. You can find her on FBE and on Twitch and all over the daggone place, shifting gears, kicking rears. Make sure to follow and subscribe to her. We're going to be back next week at 7 p.m. every Friday. We'll be talking about the state of play. We're going to be talking about whatever else is going on next week. And we'll, let you guys know about that. In the meantime, we'll let Kendall go here. If you want, guys, I'm going to be doing stuff on my stream if you want to stick around for that. In the meantime, Kendall, we'll see you next week. And we'll